Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Jake here. Hope everybody's having a great day out there today. It's time to talk about the Best Picture nominees. I've finally seen all 10 nominees, and so it's time to rank them. Time to just talk about which ones are my favorites, which ones are my not favorites. You get the gist of a ranking. A couple of things before we start. One, I actually don't think there's a bad movie on this list, and I really love that about this year. There's not really any bad movies on here that I like. All of the movies on this list I think are either good to incredible. But just the nature of a ranking, some of them have to be at the bottom. It's just how it goes. But I don't think any movie on this list is bad. And secondly, this is all just my opinion. This isn't what I think is going to win. This isn't my ranking of what I think is going to win. This is just my personal ranking for these movies, which ones I enjoy the most, which ones I enjoy the least, stuff like that. All right, that should be it. Let's get going. Like I said, I don't think there's a bad movie on this list, but Elvis definitely does take the bottom for me. There is a lot of style in this movie, which I think really helps carry this movie and really makes this movie appealing. And I am a fan of Baz Luhrmann's style. I love his rendition of Romeo and Juliet. I love Moulin Rouge. I really do like his style a lot, and this movie does seem to fit his style pretty well. And Austin Butler is incredible in this movie as well. That should not go without saying. He is transformative in this film. He is truly magnificent. But I don't know, it did feel pretty long. You definitely do feel that runtime, and I do feel a lot of the style really takes over some of the substance that this film does have to offer, and that was something I really noticed when I watched it. But again, don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's pretty fun, just not my favorite on the list. Avatar: The Way of Water, we just have to start with this. The best visual effects I've ever seen in my life. They're just jaw-dropping. It's unreal how they were able to do this. Like, it's incredible. There's so many shots where I have no idea where to start with making something like that. And so, so many props to James Cameron and the visual effects team on Avatar: The Way of Water. They're just stunning. And despite how generic and cliched the story often feels, I still found myself pretty invested in the characters in the story, which I found really surprising. I also really like Jake Sully's character a lot more in the second one than the first one. In the first one, he was just joining the tribe. He just felt like he was kind of riding along with the story. With this one, I feel like there's a lot more that he has to do. I really like his presence as a leader, not just as somebody trying to join this tribe or infiltrate it like the first one. He really has a lot to do here, and I really love seeing how he leads his family, how he leads the people of Pandora. It's just really, really interesting, and there's just a lot to love about his character. Like I said, the story is a bit cliched and generic, but again, I found myself invested in the story. I found myself invested in the characters. I can't knock it for that. I also really hope this doesn't start a trend where the next Avatar movie is 30 minutes longer than the last one, because by the time Avatar 5 comes out, my bladder's going to be dead. All Quiet on the Western Front is right up there with the original 30s film for me. Even though the original 30s film has this more authentic feel to it, just given when it was made, I feel like this new rendition has a lot to offer. First off, I love that it's a German film. It really adds to the depth of the characters, them being in the German army in World War I. This is just one of the most technically stunning films that I saw in 2022. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The cinematography is stunning. Each shot, I just want to frame it and put it on my wall because it's so beautiful and so gorgeous. The production design, the visual effects, all of the other technical elements are just so great in this movie. It really is fantastic. It's a really haunting war film. I do think that war films are kind of in this place where it's really hard to evolve them. I feel like 1917 was the last one that you could really do something unique and bring something new to a war film. But even then, story-wise, character-wise, there's not a ton you can do. And so I feel like this movie kind of represents the end of really creative war films. I don't know. You can create a really great looking war film, but how much different is it going to feel from other war movies out there? Either way, this movie's great. This movie's really, really fantastic, and I like that it's a foreign movie representative on this list. Triangle of Sadness was wacky and crazy, and I loved every second of it. For starters, there's just never a down moment in this movie. There's always something happening or something interesting with the characters or the dialogue or the action. There's just always something happening in this movie that it just makes it really fun to watch from that perspective. And there are things that this movie sets up pretty early on or is doing really early on that's really hard to understand. But then in the end, you see what it was doing. You see the purpose of that moment being there at the beginning or something like that. And I really did enjoy that about the film as well. Honestly, I just loved that this really felt like how rich elitist jerks would respond to the things that happen in this film. And I'm not going to say anything about it because it's really fun to go in blind and not knowing anything about the film. But it's a lot of fun, a very interesting ending that I've had a lot of fun discussions about with friends and stuff like that. But highly recommend it. If you get a chance to check it out, go check it out. It's worth it. These next two, I jumped between so much, and it was really hard to decide between the two. But I think number 6 on this list is going to be Tar. I really love Tar. I think the directing, the cinematography, and even the editing are all really, really great. But the real standout here is the script. I love the script. I love the dialogue. I love what this movie's doing underneath the surface and what it's kind of building up the whole time. It's just really, really interesting. I've heard this said a lot about this film in other reviews, and I can't help but agree with it. But it feels like it's a character study on a person that actually exists. Like, it has all of the makings of a biopic, but it's not. It's completely fictional, and Cate Blanchett really brings the character of Lydia Tarr to life in a really dynamic way. Like, she feels so real. She feels like a person that actually exists, and I really love her performance. I'd probably say it's my favorite to win the Oscar. Like I said, the directing, the editing, cinematography, and the writing are all so strong here. It's just so great. It's such a great movie. It can feel kind of pretentious at times. It can feel like it's doing things that you don't understand. But I think if you're willing to pay attention to it, if you're willing to give it a shot, I think there's a lot to love about it. Kicking off the top half of our list, we have The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg's. It feels like magnum opus, I guess. It feels like the movie that he's just like been building to his whole life. From a guy who's done so many of the biggest blockbusters of all time comes a really small, heartfelt, personal story about his own upbringing. And it just comes off as so authentic and so beautiful and so gorgeous. It's just a really, really great film. I think the biggest strength that this film has is that everybody can see themselves in this movie to some degree. Everybody has something that they're passionate about. Everything has something that they love, and it feels like it's a part of who they are. And for Sammy, it's filmmaking in this film. And that was something I was really able to connect to. And it just came across as so well done, so authentic. It's so heartwarming, and you can tell that there's just a lot of passion and love for this story and this film, and so it's really, really great. Has one of the best ending shots of the year, probably the best closing shot of the year. It's just great. Gotta check it out. It's so good. Yeah, Women Talking's that high. I didn't expect it to be this high on my list, but man, it's that good. It's really that good. It was really hard to understand the passion for this film before I saw it. Like, I knew it was going to be great. I knew it was going to be a well-made film. I expected it to be that. But it was really hard to understand why people were so passionate about it for so long until I saw it. And now that I've seen it, I completely get it. I completely understand it. It's so good. But, like, it's just a whole different movie on this list. Like, I don't know. It's just really, really great. It's just really, really great. The writing is magnificent and easily my favorite to win the Oscar right now. And I love that it's the front runner. I love the performances in here. All of them are so honest and tender and also really tragic, but they're beautiful performances. It's really, really great. It's just fantastic. And I would venture to say that if the color grading was just a little bit better, it'd be a perfect film. And I will stand by that. But because the color grading isn't great, I do have to knock it down a little bit. But it is that great. It's just so beautiful. It's just such a great film. yeah, there's not much more to say. It's just that good. Look, I was with everybody else when I first saw Top Gun Maverick. I thought it was great. I thought it was easy 5 out of 5. I thought it was fantastic. And before I rewatched it, I don't know. Maybe I just lost passion for it. Maybe I just lost my interest in it. But I was just like, is it really as good as everybody's saying? Was it really that good? And then I rewatched it and I was like, yeah, it was really that good. It's so good. Top Gun Maverick. It should not work as well as it does, but it's so great. I love this movie. Chances are you've probably seen this movie, and you don't need me to tell you how good this movie is, but it's fantastic. The fact that this got snubbed out of cinematography is a crying shame because this was one of the most gorgeous films of the year. The way that they just, strap cameras to planes and they just fly them, like, okay. Pop off. I think the biggest thing with Top Gun Maverick, though, is just how engaging the story and the characters are. It's the last thing that you would expect to be like head over heels about with a Top Gun film, but it's that good. It's so interesting. I love the character of Rooster and how he carries over from Goose's character and how Maverick kind of plays the surrogate father role for him. It's just really, really great. There's just such a great character dynamic there, and it builds to a really excellent finale that I just can't recommend enough. It's fantastic. You've probably seen the movie. If you haven't, what are you doing? Go watch it. Everything Everywhere All at Once was also another film that I was like, was it really as good as when I first saw it? And then I rewatched it and I was like, yeah, it's that good. I love Everything Everywhere All at Once. It feels just like one of the most complete movies that you could ever watch. There's just so much to love. There's so much to appreciate. It really does feel like Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it's like crazy. Like that's the name of the movie, But for real, I love this film. I've gushed about this movie so much. It has amazing action, has amazing comedy, has amazing drama, has amazing thrills. But at the end of the day, the characters and the story make it all worth it, and it brings it all together in a beautiful way, in such a heartwarming way, and creates one of the most special finales in a film ever. It's just really, really great. Out of all the films on this list, The Banshees of Inisherin is the one that has stuck with me the most. It is tragic and beautiful and heartbreaking all at the same time. It's such a great film. I think the writing is the best of the year here. It's really that good, and I really, really wanted to win screenplay because I just think what this film is doing beneath the surface, not just with the amazing dialogue and character building, but just what it's doing underneath the surface and the amount of subtlety in this film, whether it be in the writing and in the performances or in the cinematography or the locations or anything else like that. There's just so much that this film has to offer, and I'm really excited to rewatch it because it really is that special of a film. And it really is that good for me. I think it's fantastic. And there you have it. That's my ranking of the Best Picture nominees 2023 edition. Let me know what you guys' rankings are in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your favorites are, what your least favorites are, or even what films you think should be in the Best Picture lineup instead of some of these. Just let me know down in the comments. I'd love to get some conversations going. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for some more videos coming soon. And as the Oscars get closer, I'll have my predictions video, and I will also try to have a reactions video this year for the winners. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.